Hey, this is Ihab. Welcome to my crash tutorial on how to render in Keyshot. I'll walk you through the main steps for making your renders in Keyshot, and at the end, I will show you a variety of different renders with different render quality setups. Coming to Keyshot, two hotkeys to know: M for the materials menu here, and spacebar for the scene menu on the right side. To import geometry, you go to File, Open, or Ctrl O is the shortcut. Whether you're importing FBX or OBJ, it doesn't matter. You hit Open and then Import. Keyshot allows you to select specific objects even when you import one OBJ file. The first thing I do is just arranging the interface in a way that I can have more space for the scene area. And you would notice that as you change these menus, sometimes Keyshot would just give you some distorted visuals and then it fixes itself. So don't freak out. The middle mouse button is to pan around. The left mouse button and then moving the mouse would allow you to orbit around the object. Scaling down is going to zoom in. Scaling up is going to zoom out. You will notice that they are also organized here based on the categories, whether it's plastic, glass, or wood, or whatsoever. The other thing that I like is that you can actually scale up and down the view in a way that you get to see them a little bit more vividly. You can also click on this button to see their names right next to them. If you hover the mouse over the materials, you get to see a thumbnail of them. Right now it doesn't make a big difference, but if you are at a scaled down version of the materials display, it does make a big difference. To scale up and down the materials display in Keyshot, you click and hold Control and then scroll down and up on the mouse. Also, if you're scrolling down to see the other materials, you would notice that it would go really slowly. So to make that speed much faster, you click and hold Shift and then you scroll. Keyshot is a GPU render-based software, which means that if you have a good graphic card, the rendering could go really fast. As we're looking at the materials, once we stop like hovering or zooming in and out, Keyshot would instantly start rendering. So you would be seeing the materials as they're going to be seen in the final render, which is very nice because it gets to show you exactly what the materials are going to look like on these objects. To select objects in Keyshot from the interface, you go with the left mouse button and you can select different objects. If you want to combine selections, you click and hold Control and then it's going to add to that selection. You could also go to the other side here and you can select by clicking with the left mouse button on the objects that you like. One cool thing about Keyshot is that if you hover the mouse over the objects, it would have a turntable that shows you what is this object that you're about to select, which is very nice. So if you want, you can select one by one and you can click and hold Control and add more to the selection. Or if you want, you can select one and then click and hold Shift and then that's going to add more objects to the selection. So I'm going to select these three objects here and then I'm going to go into the materials and I'm going to find something to apply to them. You could either drag and drop with the left mouse button. One issue about that is that, as you can see, it will apply to all of them, which is a bit confusing and inconvenient. So ideally, if you're applying a material for multiple objects, it would be best to go into the hierarchy and drop that material on the selected objects. And you can see instantly the beauty of that material on these objects. Now that I have the materials applied, I can go into the lighting. Depending on the materials that you have applied, you may want to choose the appropriate lighting setup. I applied some challenging materials for the computer, and you can see here like some really interesting reflections and all of these things. And this is, I don't think this is completely rendered. You can see some noise here. In terms of the lighting, this is the setup that I have. So other than the lighting, we can go and change the environment. To change the environment, you can go into this button and you can drag whatever setup that you like. And you can also go to the back plate. So when you change the back plate, That's going to change the background. But as you can see, it doesn't really affect the lighting data, right? You can even see from the reflection that it's reflecting on the environment image. That is this one. So let's say I am done and I would like to take a render of this. I would go here at this button at the bottom, click on render. One thing that I really like about Keyshot is that in the options, it would provide you with a way that you want here. For instance, you could say, I only have like 30 seconds or 2 minutes. And then it would give you the best quality based on that time restriction. Aside from that, of course, you need to make sure that you set up the rendering format and also the rendering resolution. You can go into the presets to choose the resolution that you want. In terms of the render passes, you could also render out along with the EXR render passes. So make sure you specify the location for the render and the name of the file. And once you're done, you click on render.